I'd like to just read a couple of the rules related to this meeting tonight. First of all, would you please place all electronic devices on silent? Also, all comments and testimony shall be directed to the chair, which is myself. All persons providing information must state their name and address for the record. Some additional
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach.
some additional information. I will ask at this time for anybody wishing to make public testimony to complete a speaker card. And if you haven't done so already, and provide your name and the applicant name or the agenda item number so we can call you forward at the appropriate time. I will read the applicant request, which will open the public hearing. While I'm reading the request, the applicant or their representative should come forward and have a seat in front of the commission by the microphone next to the podium here. Environmental Services staff will review the staff report and any correspondence that has been received regarding the request. The applicant and/or representative will state their name and address and provide any input, corrections, concerns, comments to that staff report. The commission will discuss the request and ask questions of staff and/or the applicants. Upon completion of the commission questions, I will ask if there's anyone in the audience wishing to speak to this request. If there is, I will ask the person who filled out a speaker card to come to the podium, state their name and address for the record, and give their testimony. While all testimony is complete, I will ask the commission members for a motion to close the public hearing. No further input will be taken once the public hearing is closed unless recognized by the chair or if one of the commission members is seeking clarification. Lastly, the commission will review and discuss the findings of fact. The findings are a series of questions that the commission is required to answer based on Minnesota statute and the requirements of the ordinance. We do have one of our members, Angie Tomovich, who is attending virtually, and as a result of that, there will be, well, first of all, it's allowed by law that she can, or a member can, and but we will be taking a roll call vote on any board votes. Excuse me. So be prepared for that. I will try to mix up the order a little bit so the same one isn't being called all the time to vote initially. I think with that, that is the extent of it. Let me look back at my agenda here. Yeah, I would like to make a roll call of the Planning Commission members. Just signify your presence here. District 1, Cindy Harner.
Here.
District 2, myself, I'm here. District 3?
Here.
Greg Fredericks. District 4, Dave Knopfler. Here. District 5, Leroy.
Here.
At-large member, Rich.
Here.
At-large, Angie, excuse me, she's virtually. Could you hear us good?
Yes, can you hear me okay? Angie here.
We've got you. Thank you. And then
Thank you.
our ex officio member is County Commissioner Joe Persky.
Here.
Okay. All right, thank you. With that, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we are on to our first agenda item. Let me read this. I believe Evan Carlson, if you're here, if you want to make your way to the front. This is the first agenda item is to consider an interim use permit request submitted by Enterprise Energy EE Solar 31 LLC, Minneapolis, Minnesota, on behalf of the Trout Family Partnership, Sartell, Minnesota, according to sections 4.18 and 6.54 and 9.6.6 of Stearns County Land Use and Zoning Ordinance number 439. The request is to construct a 5-megawatt solar garden on property located in part of the south half southeast quarter in section 32, lying north of 40th Street North and west of 55th Avenue, Brockway Township. I'll take a roll call of the members who visited the site. I did. Cindy?
Yes, I did.
Greg?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Leroy?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
And Joe? Yes. Okay. Heidi, the staff report.
Okay, so this 5-megawatt project is located within the residential 10 zoning district in Brockway Township. This project was previously granted an interim use permit in 2024. And due to their construction timeline, they aren't able to get a construction site permit and start construction before the 2-year window for this interim use permit would become invalid. So they're here to apply, asking for the exact same project. There's been no change to the project. So just coming basically to renew that interim use permit. The project is within the City of St. Cloud Drinking Water Supply Management Area. The city's been notified of that. It has access from a township road, 55th Avenue. There's very little elevation change on the property. It's not proposed on prime farmland. All power and communication lines will be underground up to the point of interconnection. They're proposing a 6-foot chain link fence with 1-foot barbed wire on top, or possibly a deer style fence. There's some existing screening along the south, and so they propose to fill in those gaps and then adding screening on the east and north side. All setbacks are met, no tree removal is proposed. There's been wetland review by staff out there. Decommissioning, so the county typically requires a financial guarantee in the amount of $185,000 per megawatt. So that'll be required for this permit. Not within 2 miles of an airport. There are approximately 21 homes and 3 registered feedlots within a half mile of the property. Surrounded by a residential 10 zoning, commercial zoning, urban expansion, industrial, somewhat of a mixed use area right here. It's within the concentrated development area on the county's comprehensive plan future land use map. Proposed conditions. Number 1, set a date that the IUP would expire. They're requesting it to be valid for 35 years from the actual date of operation. So when the solar garden goes live, 35 years is what they're asking. Qualified engineer shall certify that the foundation and design of the solar panels is within accepted professional standards. Financial guarantee in the amount of $925,000 for decommissioning of the solar farm. They'll need to install and establish ground cover meeting the beneficial habitat standards of Minnesota statutes. There will be a financial guarantee requirement with that. Vegetative screening shall be added along the north, south, and east sides of the solar garden in accordance with the plan submitted, and also a financial guarantee to ensure that screening's done. A wetland delineation shall be completed prior to issuing the construction site permit. And environmental services shall be notified of any changes to project ownership, including new contact information. That's all that I have.
Okay, thank you, Heidi. Mr. Carlson, is there anything that you would like to, or first of all, could you state your name and address, please, for the record?
Kevin Carlson, Enterprise Energy, 2925 Dean Parkway in Minneapolis.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything that you'd like to add to the staff report or comment on?
Well, I can add as much more color as you want. It's the same project, though. So there's nothing has changed about the application whatsoever. Still not prime ag land. It still complies with the comprehensive plan. It still meets the code in the same ways, has the proper setbacks. All that has changed is the development on the GRC 312 line. That's the main line that these are on that runs, thank you, that runs south into St. Cloud, this big feeder line that both of these projects are located on. Excel studies these projects sequentially. They'll do one at a time, and the next one doesn't study until the previous one is finished. I had four other projects ahead of these two in the queue, all of which are now under construction. Two of which are under construction. Two in Sartell are under construction. One on the Meadowbrook Farm, which is next on the agenda, is also under construction. And another one in Sartell, a 5 megawatt one, will be beginning construction in a matter of a couple of months. So these things just take time, and unfortunately, these were later in the queue, and we're just getting to study them with Excel now. However, everything looks good with them, and we're excited to move forward. Also, the company has grown. Back when I was here 2 years ago, I think it might have just been me, and now we've shown that we can actually do these things, and we intend to own and operate them ourselves. I've been developing in Minnesota for over a decade. I've been coming here for a long time, and it's really exciting to finally be a full participant in this and actually owning my own product. So I'm very proud of these deals, and I hope we can do them in a responsible way that you like.
Okay. Thank you. Was there any correspondence related to this?
No phone calls or written correspondence were received.
Okay, all right, thank you. Planning Commission members, questions for staff or the applicant?
Mr. Chair, I have a question for staff on the conditions number 3. It's a little confusing to me about the permittee is required to submit a financial guarantee as required by the board to supplement the original letter of credit or cash escrow. And then B is the board may increase the financial guarantee required for decommissioning upon application to amend the conditional use permit. What exactly does that mean? I mean, are they amending it now? Is that what we're looking at, or in the future amending?
Well, yeah, this is a whole new interim use permit application. I think that is giving the board the option to ask for more, a higher financial guarantee amount, in 20 years, 25 years, when costs may change between now and then. I think that is what the intention is, that allows the board to change that financial guarantee amount down the road if needed.
So at that point in 20, 25 years, you would require them to amend the CUP, or it's actually IUP, to increase the financial guarantee? Is that what I'm understanding?
It would be, I think, if they, okay, so the board may increase financial guarantee required for decommissioning upon application to amend the conditional use permit. So if they needed to amend this permit for some reason, change the layout or something, then the board can change that financial guarantee amount for the decommissioning at that point.
Only upon an amendment.
Okay, but
You can't ask for it.
Right.
If they don't amend, then the answer is this stands with what we're asking for. But if they have to amend their permit, something changes, then we can ask for more money if that's what we are doing at that time for the size of the project. It's just
Okay.
giving us opportunity to make additional financial guarantee for decommissioning. Hopefully, we never need it.
okay, no, I understand it now, but should that be changed to interim use permit instead of conditional use? Okay. I just caught it now.
Chair.
Other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
What would occur if this particular entity sold their solar production site to another entity? Do we then get a bond or a financial letter for decommissioning from them? Or does the one that started with the original permit applicant still hold in place?
Yeah, so we've had that on multiple other solar sites. They do tend to sell and transfer to different companies. So we will hold that bond until the new owner replaces it. So typically, part of the sale is the new owner has to provide all these financial guarantees if we're still holding them. So we hold, so say Evan submits these and then in 5 years he sells it, then we will hold his financial guarantee until that new company submits a replacement one. So we'll always have that financial guarantee in place, typically with the current operator.
And just to piggyback on that, that would trigger a new IUP, correct?
Not
If
if
it were
it-
to sell?
Not if it's a change in the ownership of like the solar company. That doesn't trigger a new interim use permit. Right, it would just be, is it the sale of the land? Yeah, if the actual property sells, then that's what triggers us to look at interim use permits again. So the project owner who's leasing the land, that can change without coming back for an interim use a new interim use permit.
Is there a time frame where, let's say, the current owner is contemplating a sale that we need to be notified within so that the county can stay abreast of what's happening and stuff doesn't fall through the cracks?
We don't have anything set for that. It's basically the couple times it's come up is someone's just told us, like, hey, did you know that this property sold? And that's how we become aware of it.
I was actually referencing the company, the leasee,
Oh.
as opposed to the property owner.
They are supposed to notify us. That's condition 7. So we're supposed to be notified whenever there's an ownership change. So we've got a whole database for who to contact because we do site visits for compliance with the seeding plan and all that. So we need to set up inspections with that. So we require them to let us know and know who the new contact information is. And
Mr. Chair, Member Frederickson, the issue often is that if the company changes, they want their escrow money back, right? So they're going to tell us it's going to change because somebody else is going to provide the escrow, the financial guarantee, so they can get their payback, right? Or if they're, depending on the conditions in the situation, they may allow that change and that stays in place because that's a part of the sale. So they're aware of the dollars, so they typically do let us know of those things.
Do we have a mechanism to reevaluate what decommissioning fees would be? Let's say at some later date, inflation exists for all of us, so 5 years from now, the existing applicant sells his business, someone's gonna be doing it. Costs to decommission have gone up, but do we still stick with the set amount that we've got? Was it 185,000 a megawatt?
Mr. Chair, Member Fredericks, the answer is at this moment, yes. Yes, we do actually have someone looking at that. We have an internal auditor, and that internal auditor has looked at all of our escrow and looked at all of the projects and looked at the rates. And we're okay at this time with this number, but in 5 years, if that's something else is happening or some change in the market is occurring, we would be changing that escrow amount, or that amount per acre, or per megawatt, I should say, based on that internal audit review. So it is being looked at. Good question.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I have a question for Evan regarding change in ownership of the land. I would assume if it's got to go through a new interim use process, if the ownership of the land changes, it could be the new board could say, no, we don't want one out there anymore, take it down. Do you have something contractually with the the owner that would,
My understanding is that a change in ownership of the land would not trigger a CUP review. It would be a change in ownership of the CUP asset. So EE Solar 31 or 32, whichever one this was, if we were to sell there are two types of sales that you would see. One is Enterprise Energy, we sell to another, now we're owned by somebody else. Essentially, nothing changes there. There's same security, somebody else now owns Enterprise, because Enterprise is the guarantor under the security. So somebody else would be doing it, and that changes nothing. What you would see normally is if a company is selling an asset, they sell that single purpose entity, that LLC. So it's not an asset sale. We're not selling the equipment or selling the CUP or transferring that to another group, that would trigger if you're taking the rights out of that LLC and putting it into another LLC, that would trigger the CUP, in my understanding. But what normally happens is you just sell the LLC, and now the buyer takes ownership of that LLC with a guarantee by us. So we don't want to guarantee their projects. So now they got to come in and replace the security. Now, as far as like changing ownership to land, that would be new to me. I haven't heard of that before. That would be a problem, yes.
Heidi, could you
Yeah.
adjust, because I think that's the case now, isn't it?
Yeah, for interim use permits, the ordinance requires review of all interim use permits if the property owner changes. And to date, we've required new interim use permits under the new with the new property owner. That's right, yeah, that's what
And
ordinance states.
Is that new?
No, that's been in there for a while now.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry.
Interim uses do allow for us statutorily have certain triggers. Change in ownership is one of them, which is a significant difference than a CUP, which is conditional use permit, which runs with the land. So an interim use has a different structure than a conditional use permit, which stays with the property. Interim use, which is why typically it's a time frame you're looking at or a specific event that changes it. One of those events could be sale of the property to a different owner. That's an event that can be noted and can allow for a change.
I mean, we're looking at 35 years here. I'd be concerned if I were the owner of the project.
Yeah, this is news to me. This would be we got a project under construction. This is a major problem, so, I've got,
Chair, but my comment would be, obviously you have a contract with the landowner. And within that contract, I would think that within several years, he would not be allowed to sell that property and have you be liable to do anything with that equipment that you have on that property, other than keep it on there.
that's right.
Me, I don't see that as being necessarily a problem.
They can sell their property, but we stay on it per the lease. So but yes, they have the right to sell it, just subject to our lease.
But according to the ordinance, the way I understand it, if there's a change in ownership of the property, because we dealt that with a gravel pit over by Albany.
It would need a new interim use
It would,
permit
it would need a new interim use permit.
at that point.
I mean, not saying it wouldn't be granted, but it's a
Yeah, no,
risk.
that's unacceptable. We can't do that. That's a major problem, and we've already started construction on one of these. So we're gonna have to go back and visit it. We'll talk with our landlord. They're a long-term farmer, so I think it's probably not super likely,
You know,
right? Both of
35
these are, but, yeah, we need to plan around that. Again, this is news to me. I've never heard of this in any jurisdiction ever.
And that's why I brought it up. I just wanted to make everyone aware of that.
I had a question. I'm assuming for Mr. Carlson here. The application did say that the land is not, I don't remember exactly what the word was.
Brian?
Prime. It did appear to me, and full disclosure, I'm not a farmer, so that the parcel where this solar array is going to be going is irrigated. I guess I'm curious, why would you irrigate non-prime ag land?
To make it productive. It's sandy loam. Without irrigation, it's not a great farm site. You need that irrigator. And it's a lot of water that they got to put on there to keep it productive because it drains. It's sandy.
Okay, all
A
right,
lot of time, really good prime stuff doesn't need an irrigator because it's just really productive.
okay, got it.
But Dave, to answer your question, the irrigator kind of makes it prime, but if the water was taken away, it would not grow a crop.
Okay,
It
gotcha,
would be burnt up this year already.
gotcha, okay.
So I mean,
Thank you.
it's,
Yeah, always a little
as a
sensitive
farmer,
about
I
taking
kinda-
farmland out of production, but I
yeah,
get it.
I see the irrigator and I think that's some really good, I mean, you can grow really good crops with water, but without the water, you can't grow crops.
I think the plan with this one is to get it a little bit more squared up so you get a quarter of the center pivot out of it. That's preserving most of the irrigator there.
All right. Additional questions from the commission? Commissioner Persky?
Chair, and Shelley, Heidi. I'm just looking at the 35 years. We've struggled with timelines on that. Is that the standard that we have now in place, or where are we with the number of years?
That's the lease that they're asking for. The timeframe, that's up to the landowner and the lease and how they want to work that property. That's not anything that we dictate.
I recall earlier, we were at like 25 years, at many
It
cases.
varies, depends on, Heidi's probably got a better handle on that because she
Right.
looks at them all.
Yeah.
I mean, we do set an expiration date for the interim use permit, and they're asking for 35 years. Off the top of my head, the two that I can think of that were interim use permits, actually three, I think they were all 35 years. So it's become the standard.
Right. Well, and that too, I mean, looking at the price also on the escrow, that's increased significantly since we first started this ordeal as
Yeah.
well, so, yeah.
Mr. Chair.
And then also, just curious about legislative changes. We're now at under 5 meg now for community solar, is that where we are? The size of
Yes, the increase limit, size limit was from 1 to 5 megawatts, approximately the time this was initially approved. We actually got a little bit ahead of it before that law kicked in. But yes, 5 megawatts is the cap. 5 megawatts projects do pay production tax, whereas the 1 megawatts, and also they often trigger reclassification and use from ag to commercial. So there's a lot more tax revenue in these bigger ones than some of the ones that.
So yeah, and I was going to ask that just later, but since you mentioned it, so we have the production tax, but we also have the property tax, which now is different than it was previously as well. It's not taxed as ag property, is it not?
Yeah, it goes, I mean, different counties treat it differently, but my understanding in Stearns is that well, I don't know, I've seen it different on.
Okay.
Yeah. They usually, I mean, they could. There's nothing stopping them from taxing it as commercial, and in many cases they do.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Just to comment about the increase in years, to help, we have newer members on the board since we did these at the beginning. But the one key factor that allowed people to request 35 years was the technology in the solar panels had increased so much that they looked upon it as we need to go at 35 because of the length that we can use the solar panels. Yep. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have one question for the staff. How often is the internal audit conducted to establish and reevaluate the escrow amounts in comparison to inflation and increasing costs per se?
Mr. Chair, Member Tomovic, I believe that will be probably every 2 to 3 years that they will be doing review and audit. We have had extensive conversation in the last year about it, so I'm sure we're in a good place right now, but I'm guessing that as the time changes, they'll be looking at it as well. I would say every 2 to 3 years for sure.
Can the staff initiate audit if they see condition changing or business
Yes.
so let's say increase or decrease? You know, let's say everything gets so much cheaper, which I'm praying for every day. But
Yes.
so we could, yeah. Okay, thank you.
We do have three individuals looking to make public testimony. The first one is, I believe it's Don Tam. Would you come forward? If you could just speak into the mic there on the public testimony podium. Okay. Could you state, yeah, I'm sorry.
My name's Donald Tam. Right at 1526 40th Street North, Sartell, Minnesota. Now it's on.
And you gotta get kinda close to it.
Alrighty. So anyhow, the Trout brothers have been very, very good friends of mine for like 30, 35 years. They're extremely successful farmers. And I know for a fact they haven't had debt for over 20 years. Now, the land that his farm consists of is 2 sections, which I believe to be 320 acres. Does that sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys had mentioned that the land is not very good farmland. I will agree with that if it's not irrigated. However, he has, I believe, 4 irrigation systems irrigating that entire 320 acre site. He grows, in my opinion, some of the best crops out here. Has as long as I've known him. I built my house just across the road from that shit pit, basically, that the county put up about 15 years ago for him because he had too many head of cattle. I think he had 350 or 400 head of cattle, so the county gave him the money to put his, what we would call the shit pit, right next to 40th Street, which is just kitty corner from my neighbor. This letter that we received, dated June 30th, was the first I've heard of this proposed solar farm. Somebody told me that this was approved 2 years ago. Why were we not notified? We would have been here 2 years ago, trust me. When we moved out here 20 years ago, we moved out here thinking, wow, this is really cool. We're out in the country, we see tons of deer, pheasants, coyotes. We see all that wildlife. Not to mention, just on the north of his property, bordering his property, is an eagle's nest that has been there for many years. So I, for one, don't agree in having the solar farm there. One of the questions I have, there's a bunch of scrub trees on 40th Street. Some are good, most of them are bad. I would imagine they're gonna clear cut those out too so they can get their solar panels situated properly, would be my guess. I don't know, no offense. I was devastated. I think it was about 10 years ago that there was this beautiful oak setting just on the other side of Anderson Mechanical, which is right across the road from that new Sartell High School, which we spent buco bucks building, and we're paying taxes like crazy for that. But they clear cut that entire forest just to put up this solar farm. I have nothing against solar farms. Truly, I don't. My brother-in-law They have one on a 5-acre parcel, which they can't irrigate, and like was mentioned, without water, you can't grow crops. John and Carl Trout have been incredible stewards of this land for as long as I've known them, and I've known them since 1982, 83. I was in his wedding. We're best friends. I understand where he's coming from because he used to milk like 140, 150 cows. His back, his health, and his brothers have been failing over the years as we're all getting older. He's my age. So I understand where he's trying to get residual for his land for the next 35 years. I mean, I would imagine these solar farms pay pretty good money. So I get where he's coming from. But to take away perfectly great farmland, I can see putting it on unusable land, like these 5-acre pieces on his property. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 for that entire section of 320 acres. I could see doing something like that, but not great farmland. That gives him probably well over 200 acres, 200 bushels an acre of corn as a dairy farmer. So John Trout and Carl Trout have been great stewards of the land, excuse me, but for them to do this, and I live just across the road basically, for them to do this, I think that is absolutely asinine. And I'm really disappointed that this is the first I've heard about it, that I'm able to speak about it, and the permit has been issued 2 years ago. I'm really disappointed in the board. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Next, I believe it's Jim Goodhue, is that right? Goodhue, sorry. If you could just state your name and address for the record, please.
Yep. My name is Jim Gadoo, and I live at 6395 386th Street, so just about a half mile from the farm. I want to thank you for all the good work here. It's really great to just listen to all the details you're working through. I appreciate that. One of the main reason that I'm here is just the overall concern of how broadly these, I would call them power plants. I know they're quite a bit different than our conventional power plant thinking, but how broadly these are going to be allowed in the township, in the county. And one of the things in my mind as well is I'm hearing this proposal here on the diagram of that small area, but my wife and I are looking at some property, and as we're looking on the county site, we realize this is all stated to be solar. So we're wondering, is this entire piece going to become a solar area? And just as one of the residents, we would really like to see a limit on this, that it isn't just going to be sprawling out wherever. You know, we live close to this. You know, we personally don't want to be living next to what I would call a power plant, but I think on a bigger scale, I'd want to make sure that as a county, there's limitation. And maybe those things are in place. I don't know. Those would be our concerns, is that there is some control, and there are lots of questions in our minds about even some of the long-term effects of this, but primarily at this point, we'd like to see control and limitation on the amount of areas that this is allowed to be done. We were recently heading north and cut across on Halfway Crossing, and I mean, that's a significant area. I sure hope we don't do more of that here. So thank you for your service, and that's the reason we wanted to address this. We wanted to make it clear that we really don't want to see that expanding the way it is. I'm not at all opposed to smaller sections where there's occasionally pieces, but not to the magnitude that we're seeing. I would look at that as you got factories, popping factories up all over the place, and just want to be cautious with that. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. And next, Jessica Christian, if you'd come forward, please, and just state your name and address.
Hi, my name's Jessica Christian. I live at 6231 386th Street, just a little bit up the road from the Goody's. So I had, and thank you for holding this meeting. This is actually, I had a totally different speech planned out, but the fact that I'm just learning that this was approved 2 years ago, and I just got the letter of who was notified about this meeting, and I don't see my name on here, but this is the letter I did receive, which I'm not on this list, is the first I'm hearing about it. So anyways, I love what Jim said. That was basically what I was going to refer to. I'm not opposed to solar panel farms. I had considered one at some point in my property. You know, it's definitely a little piece. We have about 2.5 acres. But I definitely think there needs to be a limit. You know, I am a avid outdoor person. My children and I enjoy the outdoors. When we moved out to the property, I mean, the views, I mean, are amazing. But again, I understand that, you know, everybody should be allowed to do what they want with their property, and that's great. But, and I did also learn that where exactly the township line is, and that the Brockway Township doesn't have very strict guidelines. I mean, again, I've been trying to do crash course researching and trying to understand these, and, you know, I just think that there definitely needs to be a limit on them. You know, I know that there can be that slippery slope, you know, so, you know, if this farmer decides to sell his property, would that eventually become a whole entire solar panel field? And again, long-term, what are the damages? I mean, there's so many questions. There's so many details and different routes you could go down with this. And again, I actually came across a really good website, citizensforresponsibleSolarEnergy.org. And, you know, they just have some really good points on here and just good questions that I was going to ask. But, Mr. Chairman, can I give them to you to maybe look at? I mean, this sounds like this is already going to happen. You know, again, I would have been here if I had known about this meeting. You know, again, I'm not opposed to a smaller piece, but where do we draw that line? And yeah, I just thank you for having this meeting. And I don't know, can I give this to you?
You could leave it with staff. That would
Leave
be,
it with staff.
that would
Okay.
be awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you. You know, that the public, is anybody else here for public comment that didn't maybe put a card in? Okay, otherwise I think I've got them all. The public testimony did prompt me to ask this question, maybe of Mr. Carlson. You know, with these solar arrays that are popping up around our area, how is the energy that is being produced by these benefiting the local consumers as far as electricity or whatever? Is there one? Where does this energy go?
Yeah, that's a good question. So these are, most of the time when you see large solar power plants, it goes into the transmission level of the electrical grid, which by its nature transmits power somewhere else. You know, it brings power to a substation, then it's stepped down and it's distributed locally. This is in the distribution network. So it's the same network that goes to people's homes and runs these very irrigators. So in the summer when it's sunny out and everyone's running their air conditioner and their irrigator, that's when the power demand is the highest, and that's when we're producing the power. And that power is consumed locally right here on this feeder, which goes through Sartell all the way here into St. Cloud. So it is consumed locally and it builds natural resiliency into the grid. And there's no input cost for solar. You know, it's all CapEx with solar, meaning like we have to pay to build this thing. That's where all the cost is. But now we don't have to buy sun to make the power, you know. It's just automatic. So there's no variability in the cost of power. All of that is fixed long term. And apart from that, it's also a community solar garden, which people take issue with garden, but there are subscribers, people who are treated as though these solar panels are up on their roof. And those people have a substantial cost savings on their power bills. This 5 megawatt community solar program is called the low to moderate income program. So most of these subscribers will be low to moderate income individuals who don't own a house or have a good spot to put solar panels themselves. Rather than paying to build a solar array on their property, they simply subscribe and then immediately realize the savings on their power bill. And we're mandated to do that in order to participate in this program. In fact, we've gone further than is required to participate in that program. We likely will. As far as, you know, where does it end? There is a natural cap to how much power any power line can handle. I studied this line before I obtained these projects. I identified the sites that I believe were the best for solar, and I used up all the capacity that was there. And if there were more deals to do in this area, I would have done them. So there is some built-in cap. There's also a statewide cap. To give you some context, under this new program, the state approves 100 megawatts of 5 megawatt solar programs a year for 3 years. We are in the second year of that program, and after that, it steps down to 80 megawatts a year for a couple of years, and then 60, and it fades out. But initially, the impression was it was going to be a rush to get your deals in, to get at that 100 megawatt cap. Last I checked, there were 7 megawatts approved this year. The solar industry has been crushed for political reasons. I mean, we're domestic power producers here, but we are not developing new solar deals, period. We're finishing the ones we've got. That's us. Maybe others have old equipment or things like that they're still installing, but you're not seeing a lot of new solar or wind deals proposed anywhere. And it's really remarkable that that program is not oversubscribed already. Not only is there a change in laws at the federal level, but there just aren't a lot of spaces left to build them. You know, I look, and it's my job, you know, I try and find these spots. We are always in this catch-22 where we need to be near the people who need the power because we're distribution level, you know, we don't transmit it to its destination. We need to be near them, but we need to be far enough away where we're not too close to too many people. So it's always finding that Goldilocks zone in the land use ordinance where we are, and that's what I believe we've done here. I mean, these are big lots. I understand that they are currently productive, but they use a ton of water to make them productive. And when I say a ton, I mean it's a lot of water. And the balance of the field is still in production, so it's not like they're leaving the farming industry. These are generational farmers. As far as aesthetics, we are keeping those trees at the bottom. And that's reflected in the site plan. In fact, we'll likely be adding more. That was all addressed in the previous one, and I'm sorry we didn't connect at that time. I know the letters go out. We do our best to make ourselves visible. We show up to events when we can. I'd also wonder, have there been applications for new deals, new fives?
Yeah, there's another one on the agenda tonight. There was one by Cold Spring last year, maybe 2 years ago. I think that's all we've had recently.
Yeah, and if it's a new site and it's probably not on the GRC line. If it were, it's not going anywhere because we got all that power. We got all that, assuming these ones go through.
Mr. Chair? Yes, I have a question for
Yep,
Evan.
go ahead.
Evan, I'm reading this off of Google, and it says Stearns County is a major hub for solar energy in Minnesota. And they listed 60 megawatts of solar farm and garden development. I got a list today from Environmental Services. We have 42 sites either operating or under construction. I totaled up the amount of megawatts on all those sites, and it's 113. So we're leading the Midwest, and that's based on numbers that are old. So I guess one of the big questions I have is, I'm glad that we're doing that. I think solar can be a good thing, but why aren't other counties in Minnesota, why aren't other sites showing up there?
Well, I can answer your question. Well, first, 100 megawatts is not much. That's like maybe 400 or 500 acres countywide, and this is a huge county. So under 1%, less than 1% of farmland, probably about 0.01%, maybe less than that. It is less than 1%. Yeah. So not much land, and relatively speaking, it isn't that high even regionally. I mean, Benton County, the Becker coal plant closing has had huge utility scale developments that have filled in to take its place. It's utility scale solar with batteries. And those projects alone are 400 megawatts. They're gigantic. So that, just to kind of frame it, but the reason it's good for us is because of that Goldilocks scenario I was describing. You know, you've got people, but you've also got land that's far enough away from them and capable of it being away. When I try to do these in areas like, you know, Rogers and more rural areas in Hennepin County, but it's just all teed up for future development. I mean, you just can't find areas that are going to be set aside for the next 35 years to do it. The other, I'd say, comparable counties are maybe Wright and Carver. Now, although Wright has not, neither of those have expressly banned solar, but years ago they passed ordinances that were so onerous that no one has gotten a project done in years in either of those counties. And that was before they changed the tax credit laws to make it harder to, not only tax credit laws, but import laws. You know, we can't import equipment anymore. So now those are just done. Solar has been regulated almost nearly out of existence. And we're not doing it anymore. These are we're doing battery storage in Illinois. I mean, that's us, but there are some utility scale projects, but that's the reality of where the future is unless there's a major change.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Very good. Any further public testimony on this application? Going once, going twice? Third time, anybody? Okay. With that, yes, please.
My name is Susan Gaddu, 6395 386th Street. For us, once they get this done, to get to our house, we'll go by maybe 2 miles of solar farms. And it's just so unbeautiful. And I understand trying to stay away from the city, so that's just my perspective. That's what really makes it hard to see. That's all I'll see for quite a ways before I get home.
Yes. Thank you. Anybody else? Last call.
Chair, I move to close the public hearing.
Motion made by Leroy to close. Is there a second?
I will second it.
I heard two. We'll go with Rich. My hearing is better out of the left there. All in favor of closing the public hearing? I guess we have to do a roll call. Is that correct? Angie, I'll start with you this time. Closing the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Rich?
Yes.
Leroy?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
I will vote yes. Cindy?
Yes.
All right. Any further discussion on this application? Otherwise, I will jump into the findings of fact. Okay, hearing none. Findings shall be made in either granting or denying an application and should reference specific sections of ordinance that apply to this project. Questions which you could be asked, including but are not limited to the following. And also, just for the audience sake, the Planning Commission is a recommending body to the County Board of Commissioners, and any motion related to the permit should be made in that context. So, first of all, is the proposal consistent with the zoning ordinance? Why or why not?
Mr. Chair, it is consistent with zoning ordinance 439, section 4.18, 6.54, and section 9.6.6. A solar farm is allowed as an interim use permit in an R10 zoning district.
Thank you. Item 2, does the proposal conform to the comprehensive plan of the county? List applicable sections when commenting.
Mr. Chair, can I list some that are for and against? Because I'm right on the fence on this.
I believe so. Yeah, sure.
Solar would be under clean energy policies. Site solar energy systems in a way that reduces conflict with adjacent land uses, including but not limited to avoiding areas that will impact future development potential for a municipality. That, in my mind, is a yes and a no. So we can take it for what it's worth.
Mr. Chair, can I expand on that statement?
Yes. And are you referencing the same provision
thing.
of
Yeah.
the? Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
So in regard to the land, one of the biggest things that we're gonna have is a resource in Minnesota going forward is gonna be water. And if we've got farmland that requires a ton of water to grow a crop, and we had an alternative like putting a solar farm up, in this instance, I think it would be reasonable to say that that may be a more productive use of the land. Typically, I'm not in favor of farmland being tied up, but I think in this instance that supports the idea.
Very good. Any other items in the comp plan that anyone would like to add for the record? Okay, hearing none. Item number 3, is the proposal compatible with the existing neighborhood? Why or why not? Is the proposal compatible with the existing neighborhood? Why or why not?
Mr. Chair, this goes back to the study that was done in the county for the 2040 plan. And this area is one of those that's in transition. And so we're going to see requested different uses for the land. And a solar farm is accepted as a farming activity. So from that standpoint, it's compatible. But we did hear from homeowners that they didn't want this across the road from them. And that's what you run into when you have property or regions that are in transition. And that transition may take 30, 40 years to happen, but I'm living in an area where that's going on right now, and it's tough to see that cornfield change. So living with that, I would say, again, I'm gonna do Leroy's routine and say, there's, I don't want to call it good and bad, but there's both things going on here.
Yes, understand.
So we are aware, I would say as a board, maybe I shouldn't speak for everybody.
Thank you. Number 4, how has the applicant demonstrated that standards and criteria stated in the ordinance will be satisfied?
Mr. Chair, through the 7 conditions.
Very good. Other issues pertinent to this matter. Did we get comment at all from the township or maybe the city of Sartell or St. Cloud reference to?
I did not hear anything from any of those jurisdictions.
Okay. Federal, state, local permits, they're required in this situation?
They'll need probably like the MPDS permit for, since they'll be disturbing more than an acre of land. That's the only non-county permit that I'm aware of.
Okay.
That would be needed.
There was a reference to environmental concerns. I don't know if how eagle nesting, for example, would be impacted negatively by a solar array. I'm not sure about that. I wasn't aware really of any other necessary environmental concerns. We have heard from neighbors. I'm not aware of necessarily any public health, safety, or traffic concerns or impact to schools, parks, streets, et cetera. There's some financial assurance regarding the decommissioning that was mentioned. Okay, with that.
Mr.
Go-
Chair,
yeah.
I would just like to note that this was approved 2 years ago, and I'm assuming the public hearing process letters were sent out to the neighbors just like they were now. Some neighbors maybe didn't get it. I wasn't on the board then, but I'm sure the letters were sent out.
Mr. Chair, just informationally, we did look up both the list of the names and the property owners that was sent out today, or not today, but for this particular request. And then we looked up the ones from 2 years ago, and both of those were provided to the neighbors so that they could see. Those were the letters that were sent out. I can't tell you how people respond to letters from the county. That's a different issue. But the letters were sent out because that's what we're responsible for doing.
Could you just go over who gets the letter?
Anybody within a quarter mile of the site, and you saw the box. Oh, up here. So the blue line, they do a quarter mile of that, and that's the neighbors that it gets sent out to.
So a quarter mile of the boundary of the property, not the
Correct.
site.
The parcel boundary.
So a quarter mile of the blue line.
And, Mr. Chair, this is always a question that's brought up, and people say they don't get the letters, and maybe it's the mail system that's not getting them to them, but I have to believe that the county has made a good faith effort to get the notification out to the quarter mile. Maybe it's not far enough. Maybe it should be a half mile, or I don't know, but.
That's a statutory requirement. It's been talked about at different times, should we change it? But the board hasn't, the county board hasn't stated that they want us to change it to anything else. I mean, it's been discussed a number of times. Should we go to a half mile, like a rezoning or a plat? You know, should we make a difference? And it hasn't ever passed at the board level to have us change that in the ordinance to be more restrictive than the state standard, which is a quarter mile for interim use permits and conditional use permits. And we do mail notice to everybody on the list. That's what we do. That's our requirement. And we do follow that.
And just for clarification, we were past, and I wasn't on the board 2 years ago, but we were past the COVID rules where you were having in-person meetings 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Even though public testimony is closed, I will hear Ms. Christensen. If you could please comment here.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Just this last Saturday, I personally drove around to all of the neighboring homes, even on our block, and I spoke to a lot of people, and this is the first letter that they had received of awareness of this. So I personally spoke to the neighbors. They did not receive a letter. So, and
Are these potentially new occupants or?
No, I mean, I spoke to this
I mean, from 2 years ago.
from 2 years ago.
So 2 years ago, she's saying they didn't get it. They did get this one, though.
They got this one. This is
all
the
right.
first
Okay.
they were learning about it, but again, that probably would have been different. I mean, I just wanted to say that because I appreciate it. I got the list of the people that had received. I did find my husband's name on there. But we did not get the letter from 2 years ago, and just the amount of neighbors that should have got, within the quarter mile, they were not, this
Okay.
letter from just on the 30th, that was the first they were learning about it. So
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that.
Okay, thank you. I understand that there may be some discrepancy about who did or didn't get notified, so I thank you. All right. With that, I
Mr.
would.
Chair, just to Leroy's point, I think it's worth putting in the memo that this is a reapplication. I don't know if that's in the document or not, but this is a reapplication of something that has been passed by the board.
Yep, got it. Okay. I would, now that we've done the findings of fact, I would entertain a motion to approve or deny this interim use permit request.
Mr. Chair, out of respect for the folks that are on this board 2 years ago and diligently went through the process like we did tonight, I will make a motion to approve this interim use request.
Okay. Is there a second?
Mr. Chair, I second.
Rich, okay. I will take a roll call vote on the motion to approve this application that has been, a motion's been made and seconded. I will start with.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
Does the motion contain the recommended conditions?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Yes. Good.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
If they're saying it's included, we'll make sure we're including the conditions.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my motion carry includes the conditions, the 7 conditions.
Rich, you good with that? Your second?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, very good. All right, roll call vote, Greg. In favor or opposed to approving?
Aye.
Aye. Dave?
Aye.
Leroy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Angie?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
And I'm also an aye. Motion to approve is approved. So this will go forward to the the Stearns County Commissioners on August, what was it, 4th, I believe?
August 4th, yep.
August 4th. Okay, very good.
Mr. Chair, I just want to say to the Gadoos and to Jessica, as far as Brockway Township is concerned, that's something that you can approach them about. So if that's something that you as a township wants to do, you're more than welcome to approach them to have restrictions as you'd like, so. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to give them my phone number.
Okay. We were moving on to item number 2. To consider an interim use permit request submitted by Enterprise Energy, EE Solar 30 LLC, Minneapolis, Minnesota, on behalf of Meadowbrook Dairy Farm, Sartell, Minnesota, according to sections 4.18, 6.54, and 9.6.6 of Stearns County Land Use and Zoning Ordinance number 439. The request is to construct a 5-megawatt solar garden on property located in part of the northwest quarter in section 33, lying west of County Road 1, Brockway Township. The property address is 38545 County Road 1, Sartell, Minnesota. Roll call of the members who visited the site. I will start with Leroy.
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
I did as well. Cindy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
And, Dave?
Yes.
Very good. All right, Heidi, staff report.
All right, so this is similar to the last one. Approved in 2024, and it will expire before they're able to get their construction permit and get going on it, so they're back to reapply. This property is a little different in that there's an existing 1 megawatt project that was approved in 2018, that's existing and operating. In 2024, there's actually 2 interim use permits for 2 5 megawatt projects approved for this parcel. As you saw, one of them is under construction now. That construction site permit was issued about 2 months ago. So that's under construction. That would be the Solar 29 project on the map. So this request is for the Solar 30 project to the north. So this is zoned R10, very similar staff report to the last one. It's within the City of St. Cloud Drinking Water Supply Management Area, so notice was sent to the city. Pretty flat farm field out here. Proposing the same fencing, no tree removal is proposed. They will have to do the seeding to meet the state statute requirements. Decommissioning financial guarantee will be required. There are approximately 45 homes and 1 registered feedlot and a gravel pit within a half-mile of the property. Property is surrounded by R10, R1 commercial and industrial zoning. Proposed conditions. Set a date upon which the IUP would expire. They're asking for 35 years from the actual date of operation. A qualified engineer shall certify that the foundation and design of the solar panels is within accepted professional standards. A financial guarantee for decommissioning in the amount of $925,000. The applicant shall install and establish ground cover meeting the beneficial habitat standards consistent with Minnesota statutes. And a financial guarantee is required for that. Vegetative screening shall be added to the east and west sides of the solar garden in accordance with their plan, and a financial guarantee to ensure that happens. They'll need an approach permit from the county highway department prior to issuing the construction site permit. Environmental services shall be notified of any changes to project ownership, including new contact information. And a natural heritage review letter shall be submitted prior to issuing the construction site permit. And if that letter provides any recommendations, those recommendations shall be implemented. And that's all that I have on this one.
Mr. Carlson, welcome back. Could you state your, this is another item, state your name and address, please.
Evan Carlson, Enterprise Energy, 2925 Dean Parkway, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay. Again, is there anything you would like to add to staff comments?
Well, it's in essence the same, it's solar panels affixed to the ground. It's also not prime ag land, it's also irrigated. What's different between this project and the other one is that there are 2 other solar projects here. The first one is that pre-existing one in the corner. That was there for years. The one to the south across from the gravel pit, that one's under construction. And this permit's for the one on the north, which is does take up the center of the center pivot irrigator. We did this one in a way so that we could do huge setbacks. We really tried to get it away from both property lines as much as we could. So, they're gigantic. And, the property owner and their family are doing some really innovative things with soil health that they may be working on in those areas. They can talk about that if they'd like, but yeah, it's very simple. Also, no, we'll use the same approach for this one as the previous one, so there won't be a need for a new approach. There isn't, mechanically, it's the same program. Again, we're owning it. This is one of the first projects that, I've been developing since
yeah, 15 years, you know, and I'm finally getting to own some of these, and this is our like flagship 5 megawatt deal, so we're very proud of it. We're very happy that we are owning it, and it is a huge. We're a Minnesota company, right? So we really want you to be happy with it. We want to be good developers. Our contractor is a Minnesota company. They're also got a very good reputation. They're not going anywhere when this is done. Our bank is a Minnesota company. We did this one like all with the local people, and you know, it's important. We want you to be happy with it.
Very good. Thank you. Public hearing, we'll open the public hearing if anybody would like to comment. If you haven't submitted a card already, please do so. Let's see. Planning Commission, are there any questions that you have of the, for staff or the applicant in this matter?
Mr. Chair, I assume everything's pretty much the same as the one we did. My only question is, are you the owner of the little one in the corner? Okay.
Mr. Chair and staff, I do have one question. What is the track record of the owner's maintenance of the site in the corner, responsiveness, good stewardship for our neighbors and community over how long has this existing one being operated?
It was permitted in 2018. I'd have to look up the exact construction site permit. I would guess 2020-ish is probably when it went live. And that one, it's meeting all of the seeding requirements, the veg cover. I think we've released that financial guarantee. They're meeting all the requirements for that one, and they're screening. So that's been one of our better projects that we've had. And that is US Solar is the operator of that one.
I had a question maybe for staff. Just some context for the history here. The existing solar garden was permitted in 2018. An interim use permit for a second 1 megawatt was denied in 2021, and then 2 interim use permits were granted in 2024 for 5 megawatt. Is it clarification on that, or what caused the denial back? Do we know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had some issues relating to the way they were developing, and that was that if you had a 1 meg solar garden and you had it on a piece of property, you were not subject to production tax. And so then another company would come in and then place one side by side, and they were not subject to production tax. And then another company could come in and place another one there, and you were not subject to production tax. And so they had the ability to stack community solar in 1 meg parcels, but they were avoiding then the production tax. So now with the 5 meg, they will be paying the production tax, which again, taking that land out of production takes it out of the economy too. Because you don't have the farmers that are working that field, that are, you know, working the soil and buying the seed and those types of things. So the townships actually are frozen as far as getting any additional revenue from that. So that was a concern.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions from the Planning Commission? Heidi, did we receive any correspondence on this matter?
Not on this one.
Okay. I will ask if there is any public testimony on this application. I'll ask one more time. Any public comment? A third time?
Mr. Chair, I move to close the public hearing.
Thank you. Is that Dave or Rich? Rich, okay. Motion's been made and seconded to close the public hearing. Roll call vote. Cindy?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Greg?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Leroy?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
And Angie?
Yes.
Okay, public hearing is closed. Further discussion?
Mr. Chair, I have a couple of things. I didn't see on the west side of the property, is there going to be screening there or not? I know there's going to be screening on the east side of the property, and there also is, I think there's something on the south side that's presently existing. But what about on the west side?
Mr. Chair, yes, there will be a row of trees on the west side and a row on the east side.
Oh.
And that same with that Solar 29 one, they'll have a row on the west side also.
Okay. I'm just curious, that's a good amount of buffer there, as you talked about earlier. Is that going to be row crops? Is that going to be continue to be ag property? Do you know?
It's up to the property owner, but they're creative people. They're doing some really cool stuff. So I think you're going to like it. I can't say what they're going to do, but.
Okay.
All right, let me get back, where was I? Okay. Unless there's other discussion, I will jump into findings of fact. Okay, here we go. Number one, is the proposal consistent with the zoning ordinance? Why or why not?
Mr. Chair, it is consistent with zoning ordinance 439 under sections 4.18, 6.54, and section 9.6.6. A solar farm is allowed as an interim use permit in an R10 zoning area.
Thank you, Rich. Does this proposal conform to the comprehensive plan of the county? If so, list applicable sections.
Mr. Chair, I'll say the same thing I said last time.
And I believe you talked about the clean energy policy number 1, I believe? Is that?
Yes.
Any other provisions of the comp plan that anyone would like to comment on or add? All right, thanks, Leroy. Number 3, is the proposal compatible with the existing neighborhood? Why or why not?
Mr. Chair, I think it is. There will be 2 other solar farms, gardens on the site, the same site, in the immediate neighborhood.
Very good, thank you. Number 4, how has the applicant demonstrated that standards and criteria stated in the ordinance will be satisfied?
Mr. Chair.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think they've been demonstrated through the conditions.
Very good. Are there any other issues pertinent to this matter related to township or city input, federal, state, local permits, environmental concerns, impact to property values in the area, public health, public safety, traffic, that financial assurance is required that anyone would like to add or for the record?
I would just add that it was, this permit was approved 2 years ago.
Okay. Very good. Any other issues pertinent to this application? All right. Then I would accept a motion to approve or deny this application.
Mr. Chair,
Rich?
I'll make a motion that we approve along with the proposed conditions.
Got it? There.
Are listed.
Second.
And motion by Rich to approve with conditions, seconded by Greg. Roll call vote. Let me see, where's my notes? Okay. Let's see, I'll start, Cindy, approve or deny?
Approve.
Greg?
Approve.
Dave?
Approve.
Leroy?
Approve.
Rich?
Approve.
Angie?
Approve.
And myself, I'll vote to approve as well. Motion to approve is unanimous. This also will go to the county commissioners on August 4th, so, thank you. Okay. Okay, item number 3. This is to consider an interim use permit request submitted by Birch Sun, LLC, and Birch Sun 2 LLC, Denver, Colorado, on behalf of Dean and Karen Meyer, Melrose, Minnesota, according to sections 4.18 and 6.54 and 9.2.6 of Stearns County Land Use and Zoning Ordinance number 439. The request is to construct a 4.99 megawatt solar garden on property located in part of the east 1/2 northwest quarter in section 29, lying east and west of State Highway 4, Grove Township. The property address is 33960 State Highway 4, Melrose, Minnesota. I would move to members who visited the site. I did. Cindy?
Yes, I did.
Greg?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Leroy?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
And Joe? Joe's gone. Staff report, Heidi.
All right, so this is a 4.99 megawatt solar farm in the Agriculture 80 zoning district. This property does have an existing 300 kilowatt solar garden, which was permitted in 2018. There was a conditional use permit issued in 2020 for a 1 megawatt solar garden, and that expired before it was constructed, and they never reapplied for it. So we only have the 300 kilowatt one out there now. It's not within any areas of concern. It has access to Highway 4. Part of the property is considered prime farmland on the east side of Highway 4. They will not create an acre of new impervious surface. It'll be less than that. Power lines will be higher than the height of the solar panels. And then we talk about, I have in the staff report, their explanation, the electrical wires installed before reaching the Xcel Energy poles would be installed no higher than the height of the panel. And they're following Xcel's guidance for the interconnection poles. And that'll be overhead. Fence, they'll have an 8-foot agricultural style fixed knot wildlife friendly fence around the project. They're planning to plant juniper trees along State Highway 4, and what will require financial guarantee for that. They did provide a visual impact analysis. No tree removals proposed. They'll have to meet the seeding per the state statute requirements. Wetland delineation's been submitted and reviewed and approved. There are no natural heritage information system sites within a mile of the project. This decommissioning will also be $185,000 per megawatt. It's not within 2 miles of an airport. There are approximately 50 homes, 3 registered feedlots, and the city of Greenwald within a half mile. Mostly agricultural land, agriculture 80 zoning. There are some wastewater treatment ponds and rural residential lots also within a half mile. On the comprehensive plan future land use map, this property is in both the agriculture and rural area portion and also in the transition area. So it's got split classification on there. Proposed conditions set a date upon which the IUP would expire. They are requesting 40 years from the date of operation. Number 2, a qualified engineer shall certify that the foundation and design of the solar panels is within accepted professional standards. A financial guarantee for decommissioning in the amount of $925,000 is required. The applicant shall install and establish ground cover meeting the beneficial habitat standards consistent with state statute and supply a financial guarantee for that. Vegetative screening shall be added along State Highway 4 in accordance with the plan submitted with the application. Screening shall be 6 feet tall at the time of planting, and a financial guarantee is required. An approach permit is required from MnDOT prior to issuing the construction site permit. And environmental services shall be notified of any changes to project ownership, including new contact information. That's all I have right now.
All right, thank you. I do believe we have representation from Birch Sun. Alex and Colin, would you like to come forward on behalf of the owner, Dean Meyer? Gentlemen, if you could just state your name and your address, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair, Commissioners. My name is Colin O'Neill. I'm here on behalf of SunShare, the parent company for Birch Sun LLC. My address 3857 42nd Avenue South in Minneapolis.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the Commission. My name is Alex Furneaux. I am an environmental planner with Emmons and Olivier Resources. We are the civil engineering and water resources consultant for SunShare, and our address is 1919 University Avenue West, St. Paul.
Thank you. Is there anything that you would like to add to the staff report?
Yes. So SunShare, we are the company that applied for the previous 1 megawatt I can't remember if it's conditional or interim use permit several years ago. And that did expire on this property just due to capacity restrictions with XL Energy. At that time, the substation couldn't handle additional capacity, and I think that's why you ended up seeing a 300 kilowatt system be built there. You know, we've been working with the Meyers trying to find a solution, obviously for a couple of years since we applied for that. And what's changed and why we're seeking to sort of reapply at this size system is that the substation is being upgraded by XL Energy, and so we're adding some additional solar in this area to capture that, you know, additional capacity that's being created. And so hence, you know, this new application several years later at a little bit of a larger size than previously we applied for. And I'd also just like to add, as far as the vegetative screening goes, I believe it's in our plans, but we did kind of volunteer to add screening on the north side of the property. There is sort of a wetland feature in the northwest corner. And we think that provides, you know, some screening, but obviously with some neighbors to the north, we wanted to ensure that we're properly screening this system, and so we've added some along that north edge of the project. It's on one of the civil.
Yeah, maybe on one of the site plan.
Go to the site plan tab.
If you go into sheet number 9 of 12 in the site plan.
Back one.
That's it.
And if you move Angie. Oh yeah, that's okay.
So yeah, we're proposing juniper shrubs along State Highway 4, and then we don't include, like, there's a small portion where there's no screening in the northwest corner, just because there's some existing screening. But then along that north edge have added some additional screening. And, you know, we did see that there were some comments from neighbors that wanted to make sure that, you know, from a visual impact standpoint, that, you know, this was being addressed. And so, you know, we wanted to make sure that we are accommodating and adding screening in that location for that reason.
Good. All right. Heidi, correspondence received?
Yes, I did get 2 letters, so I will read those into the record right now. Hello, this is a comment in response to the public notice I received regarding the proposed Birch Sun Meyer IUP solar project south of Meyer Grove. As a line of sight neighbor, a resident of the city of Meyer Grove, and property owner in Grove Township, Section 20, I have objections to this project. It should be noted that I have personal experience in renewable energy systems myself, both wind and solar, both of which had come under scrutiny for visual concerns. The wind turbine has been decommissioned and removed. The 4x20 solar panel has been accepted by the city to not present any negative effects from beyond property border. Given the history of the petitioner's first solar project, I deduct that there is and has been no effort in masking the project or efforts to make it fit in the landscape. Rather than an effort to exist as a neutral presence, much less a visual enhancement, the existing solar project appears that the project was constructed and since have been operated to be no more than a personal benefit to Dean and Karen with no regard to, or benefit for neighbors or bypassers. This is concerning for me as a lifetime resident and as a neighbor. My farm and residence has been in the family since 1858, and it is my wife and my intent to keep it that way. We enjoy the area, the history, and the visual appearance that has existed for generations. Outsiders and former residents visiting after long absences have repeatedly commented what a joy it is to see, and now that this area of America seems to have stalled, yet provides such a good quality of life as if it was living history. In the fall of 2023, nearly every city and numerous townships signed onto a petition for the County of Stearns Park Board to consider adding a bike trail along Minnesota 4, which would pass this proposed site. The Stearns County Park Board ultimately adopted a 50-year plan, which includes this consideration. If completed, the combination of the proposed trail would connect the Lake Wobegon Trail and the Glacial Lakes Trail and the Dairyland Trail, resulting in the longest and most densely continuous non-motorized trail system in Minnesota, uniquely connecting regional population centers of St. Cloud, Wilmer, and Alexandria. It is also conveniently located to the Minneapolis-St. Paul Metro and Fargo-Moorhead. This would be a tremendous economic driver to the county and each of the 20 Stearns County communities on the approximate 195-mile network. The plan has support of different bike clubs in Minnesota. Any novelty that solar farms may have possessed has long passed. This proposed project, if constructed, operated, and maintained like the petitioner's first solar project, would be a detriment and eyesore from my property and from the prominent view from my kitchen window as I look out as I draft this letter. A greater concern to me and certainly to everyone interested in preserving and enhancing the economy and quality of life in rural western Stearns County and by default all of Stearns County is the negative effect this project will have, primarily visual. I propose that if this project is approved, an all-season visual blocking barrier that enhances the current experience of all be mandated. A dense tree line would be this author's preference. Such a tree line should be established and maintained for as long as any reminiscent of the solar facility exists. Thank you, Marvin Meyer.
Heidi, if we could, as long as we're, rather long letter, just to, on topic here. I mean, I don't know, maybe this is for the applicant as well, but this proposed solar array, it doesn't interfere with the proposed trail connecting Wobegon, Glacial, and Dairyland, does it?
I wasn't able to find any record of a path or design that would be constructed for this that I'm aware of, or any plans for this. And my understanding from other similar types of trail production or like construction projects is those are often negotiated with the right-of-way of a highway. So unless the landowner is considering becoming a part of that, then there would not be a conflict.
Mr. Chair, as a current member of the Stearns County Park Board, and I was sitting there when Mr. Meyer proposed the trail along Highway 4. We discussed it at length, and the challenge for the Park Board or Stearns County will be to get approval to use the right-of-way of Highway 4. So the solar array is not going to be in the right-of-way, obviously, so that should not be a problem, but there is a concern about screening of the solar array.
Okay.
That's the concern.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I think there's another one.
Yep, one more. Dear members of the committee, in regard to construction on a 4.99 megawatt solar garden on property located in part of the east half northwest quarter in section 29, lying east and west of State Highway 4 Grove Township, we are the property owners directly to the north and east of this project. We would like to express our sincere appreciation for the opportunity to share our thoughts regarding the proposed solar panel project directly next to our farm. We understand that the decision to move forward with the solar development has been made. While we recognize that we cannot prevent the project from being built, we respectfully ask that you consider a vegetative barrier consisting of trees, evergreen plantings, or tall shrubs between the solar panels and our property without disrupting sunlight for crop growth. Our family has chosen to live in the countryside because of the peaceful rural landscape, open farmland, and natural beauty that surround our home. A thoughtfully designed vegetative buffer would help preserve much of the rural scenery while also providing additional environmental benefits such as wildlife habitat, wind protection, and improved aesthetics. As the vegetation matures, it would soften the visual impact of the solar installation and create a more natural transition between the project and our neighboring property, along with not being too tall that the vegetation is shading the growing crops. We believe that a vegetative barrier represents a reasonable and respectful compromise that balances the goal of renewable energy development with the interests of the surrounding landowners. A vegetative buffer for the solar panels would demonstrate consideration for the families who have long called this area home and would help maintain the rural character that makes the community unique. We respectfully ask that the committee to include landscaping requirements that provide a visual barrier for our farm and for our neighbors, allowing families like ours to continue enjoying the natural beauty of our surroundings while supporting responsible development. Thank you for taking the time to read our letter and for considering our request. We appreciate the opportunity you have given to the residents to express our concerns. We hope you will recognize the importance of preserving the scenic rural landscape for us and our neighboring property owners and will consider requiring a vegetative barrier as part of this project. Please feel free to reach out via email to our family if wanting to collaborate on this project. Sincerely, Jerry, Carl, and Christopher Meyer.
Thank you. Is there anybody in the audience here for public comment? Going once, going twice. I'm seeing no movement, so entertain a motion to, excuse me, Commission panel, any questions for staff or the applicant?
Mr. Chair, I have a number of questions. In regard to the way the field would be situated on the east side of the Highway 4, it seems to me, and I've driven through there many times, there's an elevation change as you go north from the beginning of the field to the northern end of it. And on page 24 of your application, you point out that there is going to be a visual impact on traffic on Highway 4. And one of the questions I had was, do these panels tip with the angle of the sun? Do they kind of track it from east to west?
Yes. What we're proposing on the west side is a fixed tilt array. partially due to just area constraints, but also to fit with the existing 300 kilowatt system that will be, adjacent. On the east side of the property, we will be using fixed tilt system, which will, yes, track the sun throughout the day.
Can I have a follow-up question? Yes. So if you've got that kind of somewhat going up a hill slope, and you're coming from the south going north on Highway 4, and you've got tracking panels, are they also tilted somewhat? Do they kind of follow? Are they like horizontal? Or are they tilted somewhat, kind of following the contour of the land? I would assume so to get more sun, but that's not my expertise.
Yeah, so these are single axis, so they will only rotate essentially from east to west. The way the racking is set up is you get these long runs, kind of that run north-south, with the panels put on top, and then it's, one long pipe that will kind of rotate all of the panels on that row. So they'll be horizontal as much as possible, but obviously as we install these, they will slightly follow the contour of the land, but we will drive the piles in so that effectively we're trying to get a horizontal, lay with the panel.
Follow-up question. So in regard to that, there really isn't a plan for any vegetation on the south end of that field on the east side? And I was just curious to why not?
I think just off screen, just south, there is a pretty significant growth of trees, which is why, yep, right there, we didn't include vegetative screening on the southern kind of portion right there.
Could you point out again the trees that you're referring to?
Yeah, right there.
So could you imagine driving north on Highway 4 and you get past those trees and then all of a sudden you may be getting glare from a panel? Do you see where I'm going with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
We are, certainly open to adding vegetative screening on the south side.
Okay.
We, obviously, the requirement is along Minnesota 4, to have screening, and we added screening on the north side because of the residences, but we're certainly opening to adding screening there too.
How high are the panels off the ground?
Approximately 10 feet.
How tall will the trees be that you plant as a screening?
They start at 6 feet. If you try to plant these shrubs any larger than 6 feet, a lot of them will die during that process, and so you plant them at 6 feet, and then they will, grow after that. But yeah.
I have another question. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Another question. You had mentioned that there's a substation that's being developed, and where is that substation located at?
It's northwest of the project area. I don't believe it's on this screen, but yeah, just off screen northwest there, yep.
Probably being updated in conjunction with a wind farm that's going in, would be my guess.
It's certainly possible. Yeah, we don't know the reason why it was upgraded, but yeah, XL did, state that it is being, the transformer and a lot of the equipment at the substation is being upgraded.
One more question.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem.
Did you put
You're
in
on a roll.
the first array by the sewer ponds?
We did not, no. So the landowner's here, he may be able to answer the question, but my understanding is that we proposed a 1 megawatt project initially before there was any solar on site. And during the study process with XL Energy, it was determined that there was only capacity for about 300 kilowatts of solar. I think SunShare elected not to move forward with a system of that size at the time, and another developer then, developed that 300 kilowatt system. So we did not do that project, no.
Thank you.
Yep.
I had a question for the applicant, and it kind of jumped out at me. that this is a request for a 4.99 megawatt solar garden versus the previous two tonight were 5. Is there some reason to be under 5?
In this case, it was just based on the capacity of the substation.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, I guess. I'm not an expert on solar gardens. I was just curious. Is there staying under 5? Is there some other reason for it? Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question for the commissioner.
Sure.
Related to Dave's question, if the solar garden is planned for 4.99 instead of 5, does it escape the production tax?
No, no.
Okay.
Great.
The production tax, I believe, starts now at.
Okay. Unless there are any other questions from the Planning Commission, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I have a question in regards to one of the letters that we received from Meyer Land and Cattle LLC. Reading through their requests or concerns about screening, could you put that back up there so we can see the property? Yes, so looking at this letter and their description, they said they're north and east of the proposed solar array. Is that the farm that I'm seeing about towards the top of this picture? Is that their farm?
Yes, that, I believe that is the one in question. Right.
Okay, then they have concerns about screening north and east. North and east would be, well, for me, it'd be to my right.
Right.
So are they proposing that they have some type of vegetative screening along that east property line?
I believe that's what their request, that's what that letter is requesting, to have it screening there too. What's proposed now is on the north side and the west side.
Okay.
So that would be up to the Planning Commission and Board's discretion if you wanted to add on the east side also.
Okay. Just want to make sure we have the right visual going on here.
Can I ask a clarifying question from that then? Is that blue line on a road or what is to?
The blue line is that's the existing parcel boundary.
Uh-huh.
And then the road bisects it there. But yeah, there's no road.
So there's no north-south road with that blue line?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct.
I'm just trying to figure out what that brown is to the east.
It's all egg land, tillable
Okay.
land.
Okay, so that's farmland.
Yeah.
The highway.
Any further questions?
Mr. Chair, I just have one. As far as the screening, how far would that, if we would require trees on wherever on the property, how far would it be from the property line? Would they be planted?
I believe, and I will double check here, but I believe we require it to be 20, any vegetative screening needs to be 20 feet from the property line. But I will double check that right now. Yeah, that was a change the last time we updated our solar standards, was adding a setback for screening, because it had been an issue on one project in particular. The screening was growing onto the neighbor's property and they weren't able to, they had to drive on the neighbor's property to go around the screening for maintenance of the solar, so we added in a setback.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I think
Oop,
the
question?
owner has a.
Oh, I'm sorry. State your name and address,
I'm
please.
Dean Meyer, 33556 State Highway 4, Melrose, Minnesota. I'm the landowner. When it comes to the screening, I could see where they may want some screening along the east side. I don't know if it's necessary to carry it all the way down the entire east side from where their property the north part of it sits higher than what it's going to be as you get further down the property to the south. So I guess I question if it's needed the whole length, or if they simply want to have it all the way along there so they don't even see the solar array. There could be various reasons why they want it. I'm assuming they just simply don't want to see the solar array.
Mr. Chair, I have a question of Dean, if it's okay. Who owns the property to the east?
That'd be Carl and Jerry Meyer.
And they're the ones, the land and cattle?
Yes, that's correct. And then Marvin Meyer would be a brother to Carl. I guess the one comment I'll make is the farm in our family has been in our family since 1913, so it's not like it's something that has been just recently. We've been around there for a long time. I'm fourth generation. Plan on continuing to have the farm in the family for right now. And for us, we try to, our building site, as you can see on there, we try to maintain our building site, and it's the same thing when it comes to our property. We like to keep the property well maintained, the weeds and things like that. It's always been important to us.
And your building site is the lower right-hand corner?
Yes, the lower right, or left-hand corner, or excuse me, right-hand corner.
Okay.
Sure. This land is designated as prime farmland, particularly on that right side. And part of the Stearns County plan is to preserve ag land. I'm just kind of curious, why don't you keep it in production?
Well, if I could put it somewhere else on my property, I would. I have plenty of tillable plenty of acres that aren't tillable, that it'd be nice to have it sitting there, but that's just plain not feasible. I mean, it's, that would be ideal to me, but unfortunately that doesn't work that way. And we have the prime farmland here. My wife and I feel it's our land. It's how we want to utilize the property. And not only that, but it's green energy out there. Not everybody wants to do those things. We've been willing to do that on our farm too. When it comes to, for many years, we had an alfalfa small grain rotation. Whatever isn't tillable, we still graze it either as pasture or as take grass hay off of it. At this point too, even along our ditches, they're all buffered. So we try to do what we can for the health of the land too. And except for many years, they're from 1970 till 2017, there was no row crops on the farm. We wanted to cut down on soil erosion, that type of stuff. So we've done our part that way. I quit dairy farming, so I do actually rent out the tillable acres at this point, but we still have cattle out there. We still maintain the property, and my dad felt that way, and I felt that way, that cutting down on soil erosion was an important thing. So we just strictly had the small grain alfalfa rotation and dairy farm that way, which created challenges even with getting enough energy in the cattle, trying to figure out other ways to work with those things. So we did things differently than what most dairy farmers do. So I guess at this point here, if it's into green energy, you have your, I would assume it's kind of like wildlife flowers or wildlife habitat that will be growing underneath the solar arrays. So we're just still protecting the soil. Probably should be good soil health for that. So I mean, there too, having this barrier along there for so it isn't so visible. Yeah, we have no problem doing that. Feel that that's a good idea to do that. So it looks more natural in the area instead of it sticking out there more so. I guess you take the other side of the road, those sewer ponds that have been there, they've been there since about 1990. Before that, that was all prime cropland is what that was too, and that all got converted over also. I guess that's where I'm at with things.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Further questions?
Well, I just got a comment. The great concern about the visual, screening and what have you. Highway 4 is going to be a corridor with quite a few wind turbines in the relatively near future. That project is going forward. So when you drive down 4, you're going to be like driving down the center of an energy production area in our county. Yes, sir. This project is so big, the county is not involved in it as far as permitting. It's a state level project. So.
Any other questions? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Greg makes a motion to close.
I'll second the motion.
Leroy second. Any further discussion at all on the application? Okay, hearing none there, I will jump into the findings of fact.
Well, we should vote.
Oh, my bad. Got a little too hasty here.
It's okay.
I support the motion to close. Cindy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Leroy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And Angie?
Yes.
All right. Now, is there any further discussion? Hearing none? Oh, Greg?
In the past 2 projects, we've talked about the importance of ag land. And in the previous 2 projects, we were looking at less than ideal farmland. If it didn't have irrigation, crops weren't going to grow. That's almost a quote of yours, Leroy. In this case, it's different. I certainly am sympathetic to Dean's comment that it's their land and they're trying to do with it as they see fit. But I think part of our job as the planning commission is to think beyond our lifespans. And when you look at a project of 40 years, and you're taking that land out of ag production and it's prime ag, I think that we should really question that, just based on that one factor alone.
How many acres are being taken out of production for this project? 25?
Mr. Chair, I'm going to agree with Greg, so I'll be voting no on this application because of the prime ag land thing. I mean, I'm okay with solar, I just think there's a proper place to put it, and this may not be the proper place.
All right. Any further discussion? Okay, findings of fact. Is the proposal consistent with the zoning ordinance? Why or why not?
Mr. Chair, the proposal, excuse me, the proposal is consistent with the zoning ordinance number 439, sections 4.18, 6.54, and 9.2.6. A solar farm is allowed as an interim use permit in the Ag 80 zoning district.
Thank you. Does the proposal conform to the comprehensive plan of the county and list applicable sections when commenting?
Mr. Chair, I'll list a couple of why I think it does not. And others can voice their opinions as well. But under agricultural goals, number 3 and 5 kind of say the same thing, which is retain areas with highly valued agricultural land or economically viable animal agriculture operations. And number 5 is strengthen and retain areas with highly valued agricultural land or economically viable animal agriculture operations. So those are reasons I think we should not approve the solar farm on this property.
I would comment that this site solar energy system, and I guess I'll also maybe add my comments as it relates to, is the proposal compatible with the existing neighborhood? I recognize the the prime ag land in question here. But I also felt that with the GEMS treatment facility there, it just felt like this was a good spot for this kind of project in that particular area. We're talking about a landowner who has had, the property's been in their family for generations, and they've been good stewards of it, and this is a project they'd like to move forward with. So in that regard, clean energy policies, number one, and crop and product diversification policies, number one, encourage the diversification of crops and products to enhance Stearns County's regional agricultural presence. So, any other comments related to the comp plan?
Mr. Chair, I echo Leroy's sentiments about the preserving ag land. In addition to that, this particular area is in between two towns that are close together. I don't know what Greenwald and Meyer Grove are going to look like in 40 years. So I do have a concern about how much land gets tied up. Also, when we talk about the business pillar, in terms of major transportation, if you're planting a tree that's 6 feet tall and they've already submitted in their own application, there's going to be glare issues with traffic. I think that's a concern.
All right. Thank you for the comments on that. Item number 3 is a proposal compatible with the existing neighborhood. Why or why not? I've already commented on that. Anybody wish to add one way or the other? Okay. Hearing none. Has the applicant number 4, has the applicant demonstrated that standards and criteria stated in the ordinance will be satisfied?
Mr. Chair, I believe that they have, again, by agreeing to the proposed conditions 1 through 7.
Thank you. Other issues pertinent to this matter, was there any input at all from the township or the city of Greenwald or Meyer Grove?
I did not receive any.
Okay. Anything related to federal, state, local permitting? Any environmental concerns? Information regarding impact to property values? Public health, safety, or traffic concerns? I guess we did talk a little bit about the concern for potential glare that could impact traffic, public service facilities, any impact to schools, parks, streets, utilities. I don't think we heard anything about that. And the financial assurance required to guarantee reclamation or cleanup, I think that was indicated is there. So.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
can I just clarify, they did just tell me they did meet with Grove Township, and Grove didn't have any concerns. I did not receive anything from Grove, but the applicants did meet with them.
And just for the record, could you clarify that you spoke to the Grove Township?
Yes, I actually attended the township hearing. I think it was on July 8th or 9th. I'd have to double check my calendar, but yes, I attended a meeting, presented this project, and they raised no concerns after addressing their questions.
Okay, but we have nothing in writing supporting or?
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I do just have one clarification from the staff and maybe from the applicants. As far as the plantings, my understanding is you are starting with 6-foot plantings. How tall will these grow and over what period of time? Are those evergreens, I'm assuming, as well?
Yeah, junipers are evergreens, so they will provide consistent screening throughout the year. I don't know off the top of my head what a mature juniper's size would be, but they're planted at a 5-foot spacing from the center of each other, so they will form a very dense wall of trees once they are in and once they are established in there, so.
Does staff know what the juniper, just want to see what the mature growth size, is it 6 feet or are they coming to 10 feet, 15 feet? Just point of interest there.
Let me look it up here.
They have two types of trees planned. On that east side, they're talking about a juniper star. Typically 12 to 15 feet is the highest, and it's about a foot a year. They have a different type of tree on the west side, and it doesn't reach quite that height. Interesting comment about the juniper star tree. Firefighters call it the gasoline tree.
Public hearing is closed, but I will take comment from the owner.
I guess a couple comments. One, the solar array on the west side of the highway, I haven't ever heard of anybody commenting about there being any issues with glare. Second comment I would make, on the east side of the road, I own the property that goes all the way down along there. Trees could be planted further down that way as well, and if they want to put bigger trees in there, they could put bigger trees in there. Right now, I do make grass hay off of it, but if that's what needs to be done to get this project through, because of the issue with glare being a concern, there could be trees planted further on down there that stays out of the highway right away, but could also help with the issue of potential glare. I guess that's a comment I'd like to make. The other comment was concern about prime farmland. Well, not all those acres on both sides of the road are prime farmland either. Some of that stuff over time, by putting tile in, has made that land better. Without the tile land in there, it was harder to farm some of that stuff on wetter years. That was on both sides of the highway. So as far as it all being prime farmland, it's not. And the only reason why it's better than what it used to be is because of putting tile in there. So I guess those are my comments, and I understand people could have issue with glare, and that's why I'm throwing out the idea of planting more trees to the south, because like I said, I own all that property along there. It's all grassland in there is how we maintain that, and if it's full of trees, it's full of trees. If I don't have to do that small area, I don't have to farm that small area.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. We have concluded the findings of fact. I would, at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve or deny the interim use permit request.
Mr. Chair. I would like to make a motion to approve the request with the conditions and also including screening on the north and the south sides.
Okay.
Mr.
good.
Chair?
Yes.
Just with that condition, can I just confirm, is it the south side on both, the south end on both the west side and the east side, or just the east side? I just want to confirm what you're thinking. And then just the north end on the east side is what they have proposed right now. So that's good for the north. So yeah, just the south then.
So
okay
just
with-
the addition of the south, and I'll open it up to the other members if they think that the west side needs to be attached to that also. But primarily, I was thinking the right side of the road, or the east side of County Road 4.
Okay. It's your motion.
Oh, I'm going to make a motion for the screening to be on the south side of the east side.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Very good.
Thank you.
In addition to other screening already provided, correct? We are not altering the screening already in the permit.
That is in addition to what was already proposed, yes.
And I would, yeah, okay.
Okay, so Cindy is making a motion to approve the application. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Dave seconds. I will need to do a roll call vote to approve the motion. And let's see, what order do we want to do it here? We'll go, Rich, we'll start with you.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Angie?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Cindy?
Yes.
Aye. Greg?
Nay.
Dave?
Aye.
And Leroy?
Nay.
And Rich?
Motion.
No, I'm sorry, Rich, you started this, right?
Yep.
Right.
Motion
Okay.
passes.
Motion
5-2.
passes on a 5-2 vote, if my math is correct.
Yep.
That's correct.
And this will go to the Stearns County Commissioners on August 4th, so. All right, thank you. I do believe we have one last agenda item before we adjourn, and that is to approve the minutes of the June 25th meeting. I believe everybody was present for that. Is there any additions, corrections to the
Mr.
minutes?
Chair, I have to abstain from that. I was not at that
Oh,
meeting.
you were not, I'm sorry, okay. Dave is, Knopfler is abstaining, rather. Any other corrections to the minutes? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Oh, I'm sorry, I got a
I'll
little,
make a motion that we
got a little
approve
hasty.
the minutes.
Rich,
And I'll second the motion.
and Leroy seconds.
No, we
All in favor of approving the minutes,
Aye.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Minutes are approved, and we are, I guess we motion to adjourn.
Oh.
Hang on.
I got a couple housekeeping.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
There was something.
First of
Appointments.
all,
Oh, that's right.
we're gonna move the applicant
Yes.
from the testimony spot.
Yeah, we're gonna make the change in location.
Yeah, just be, you can have conflict there, so we maybe wanna
Oh.
make sure that, you know.
happen is this side will go over that side will come over here.
Yeah, that's good. All right.
Well, that's why we have the deputy here. She's got to keep order.
But I don't know, can you get him with taser from there? Oh, okay. Just curious.
Let's try it, Joe.
Okay, the
Get
next
taken.
issue, this is a motion to close the public hearing. This is the only board that I see that does that. And in the 10 years I've been on the board, we've never not passed that. So what I'm going to suggest again is that what the chair can do is you can make 3 calls. Is there anyone else want to testify? Does anyone else want to testify? And after the 3rd call, you can tap and say, the public hearing is not closed. If somebody doesn't want to close the public hearing, then anybody on the board say, no, I don't want to close the public hearing. So you can control that, but it just would save some time and diminishing the call. That's just one thing. And then the last thing, and Shelley, and we had the people say, well, I didn't get that notice, okay? And we've talked about it before, like with a gravel pit, we get people that are very concerned, and they're maybe a half-mile away, or they're just a little bit. When you've got that crusher and you've got those trucks going by your road, should we send those people? We don't have to. We don't have to. And same thing here, we don't have to. But does it, would it be reasonable to send them a notice?
I mean, you're talking about maybe triple or 4 times the notices then,
That's
in
true.
some cases.
Yeah.
And we would be bringing more controversy in here, but still, they would have the opportunity to know that that's gonna happen in their neighborhood. Is it worth talking about?
It would need to be a change that have to come from the board, the county board.
Correct.
So that's just, if you're in favor, you can have future discussion on it. It's something to think about. We do make every effort to notify everyone. I'm going to tell you, a lot of people throw those things away. Just telling you, I know it's been doing it for 35 years. We have the list, we keep them for a reason, but we do make notification to people.
At least maybe the gravel pit.
For sure, gravel pit.
That's all I got.
Just clarification, I mean, if I missed it, I apologize. Do we need to do something with this? This issue?
Mr.
Discussion?
Chair, no, what I'm doing is making sure everyone's aware that Rich is done at the end of this year, and that will be an open position. And as our county board members have said to us, you know, the more you think about it, the more you know other people in other districts. If you think there's a good applicant, you can tell those applicants, hey, sign up, you know, put in an application. We need good members. It's good to have those people. And then you can see Cindy's got a reappointment because she was filling a term because of Jason Wienerman moving, District 1. And then Leroy, you were also filling in a position because of a person changing. So that term is up. So if you want to reapply, put your applications in for District 1 and District 5. And we will need a new at-large position that Rich has expired out on his 9 years. So
Terms out meaning that.
three-year
Rich has
terms.
served enough time that he can't.
Correct, three-year terms.
Gotcha, okay.
He qualifies for retirement benefits.
Absolutely.
So again, if you know of people in other areas or you think there'd be a good at-large candidate, we appreciate more candidates. It's always good to have choices. We have great members both on Planning Commission and our Board of Adjustment right now, so we're very pleased with that. But if you know of people and are interested, that's what we're looking for. So it's always good to keep it on top of mind. If there's a person that, oh, hey, what are you doing that's interesting, right? Cindy, you could testify to this. It's much more interesting. Angie, you as well. You know, newer members, it's different, it's interesting, and it keeps you involved.
Yep.
Highly recommend.
The other question about the closing the public hearing, I am good with using, does this body need to vote on that procedure?
No, it'd just be something to note so that we can let staff know that that's what's going to happen.
I mean, I guess if it doesn't require a motion, I mean, everyone comfortable with that change?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay, all right. Well, then next month, we will just forego the motion and a second regarding closing the public hearing.
We'll just change it on our sheets so that we keep it accurate.
Perfect. Now is there a motion to adjourn?
I was going to move that we adjourn, get out of here.
Second? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you all.
Thank you
Have
all.
a good one.
Thanks, Angie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was the best one so far.